So now um, we see that the non-attraction for sense objects and mind control, these are very essential things in order to come to yoga ruda stage. Yoga ruda stage is advanced stage in yoga, wherein person is in absorbed in the Lord. Hmm. So these two are essential factors. Hmm. No attraction to sense objects means sense control and mind control. Both are essential factors in yoga ruda stage. That's why in order to come from yoga arurukshu means beginning stage of yoga to the yoga ruda stage, when one is a mature yogi, uh, because this is required, mind control is required. So now in the subsequent verses, now Krishna is talking about importance of mind control. Hmm. So Krishna is talking about this mind control now, so that success in yoga it depends a lot on mind control. So that's why that discussion is going to come now. So okay, please recite fifth verse.
Nine. Nine.
Hare Krishna. I hope I'm audible. Uradra udharet atmanatmanam
Udaretatmanatmanam
atmanam avashadayet
Atmanam avasadaya
atmaiva hayatmano bandhur
naiva hyatmano bandhu
atmaiva ripur atmanah.
atmaiva
Tripuratmana.
Translation: one must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. Purport: the word Atma denotes body, mind, and soul. Depending upon different circumstances in the yoga system, the mind and the conditioned soul are especially important. Since the mind is the central point of yoga practice, Atma refers here to the mind. The purpose of the yoga system is to control the mind and to draw it away from attachment to sense objects. It is stressed herein that the mind must be so trained that it can deliver the conditioned soul from the mire of nescience. In material existence, one is subjected to the influence of the mind and the senses. In fact, the pure soul is entangled in the material world because the mind is involved with the false ego, which desires to lord it over material nature. Therefore, the mind should be trained so that it will not be attracted by the glitter of material nature, and in this way the conditioned soul may be saved. One should not degrade oneself by attraction to sense objects. The more one is attracted by sense objects, the more one becomes entangled in material existence. The best way to disentangle oneself is to always engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. The word he is used for emphasizing this point, that is, the one must do this. It is also said, Mama eva manusyanam karanam bandha mokshayo bandhaya uh,
Vishayasana.
mukshaya nirvikshayam mana. For man, mind is the cause of bondage and mind is the cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense objects is the cause of bondage, and mind detached from sense object is the cause of liberation. Amrut Bindu Upanishad 2. Therefore, the mind which is always engaged in Krishna consciousness is the cause of supreme liberation.
Yeah, I think we can take next verse also, because these two verses again are like together. So next devotee can recite sixth one.
Yes, Roshi. बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य
Duratmatmanastasya
एनात्मैवात्मना चिता
Vinatmevatmanachita
अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे
Atmanastu Shatrutve
वर्तेत वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्.
Vartetatmaiva Shatruvat.
Translation: For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. Purport: The purpose of practicing Eightfold Yoga is to control the mind in order to make it a friend in discharging the human mission. Unless the mind is controlled, the practice of yoga for show is simply a waste of time. One who cannot control his mind lives always with the greatest enemy, and thus his life and its mission are spoiled. The constitutional position of the living entity is to carry out the order of the superior. As long as one's mind remains an unconquered enemy, one has to serve the dictations of lust, anger, avarice, illusion, etc. But when the mind is conquered, one voluntarily agrees to abide by the dictation of the personality of Godhead, who is situated within the heart of everyone as Paramatma. Real yoga practice entails meeting the Paramatma within the heart and then following his dictations. For one who takes to Krishna consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically.
Yeah. So now in this path of advancing from yoga urukshu stage or to yoga arudha stage, mind has got a very important role. So in these two verses, fifth and sixth verse, Krishna is talking about how mind is both friend and enemy. This is the main theme of both the verses. So especially in we see in this conditioned nature, the soul, he experiences how the mind is so uncontrolled. This is one of the biggest problems in the world, right? Uncontrolled mind. So uncontrolled mind, what it can do to us? It is due to uncontrolled mind that we lose confidence, isn't it? We undergo depression, stress, hypertension, isn't it? Our determination is weakened, madness, loss of trust, so many things take place. So these are all diseases of mind. In the modern world, people are learning about everything. They are learning physics, they are learning chemistry, they are learning economics, history. But where is a department wherein one is studying? One may suppose psychiatry is there now. But how many people learn? How many people have problem of this thing? Uncontrolled mind. Everybody has conditioned soul. But and these are all so many troubles which come because of that. But then hardly there is education given how to control the mind. So in the society, there are so many things are happening. So because of uncontrolled mind, what happens? The lusty intelligence, this uncontrolled mind, it keeps lusty intelligence, it's under its control, and that's how the senses become totally disturbed. So disturbed senses, fickle mind, and lusty intelligence, three of these faculties together, what they do, they create havoc to a person, conditioned soul, isn't it? So when a person, he does some actions with uncontrolled mind, when a person, he does some actions with uncontrolled mind, so what are the results? The result is rape, murder, alcoholism, breaking of the TV, or picking quarrels, smoking, burning houses, prostitution, suicides. All these are all results of uncontrolled mind only, isn't it? So we see that people in this world, they are learning so many sciences, but such an important science, of self-management or mind management, people are not ready to learn. This is such an unfortunate situation. And this is the main reason because of which, despite getting so many achievements, people are disturbed. Do we see that all rich people are happy? No, they are disturbed. In America, they say, Prabhupada only quoted this. Prabhupada says that in America, 1 out of 3 people they go to psychiatrist. So Prabhupada used to say, who goes to psychiatrist? One who is crazy goes to psychiatrist, isn't it? The normal person doesn't go. But once upon a time in Calcutta, one person he committed murder. So when he was put into jail and he was put in front of a judge, he said, "Please forgive me. You have to excuse me because I was having uncontrolled mind. I was crazy that time." So then they called a medical practitioner. This Prabhupada quotes all these things, and that medical practitioner said that yes, it is true, because he said, since my 40 years of experience in medical science, I can see that everybody is more or less crazy. Like that. He said, this is my understanding, that almost every person has got little craziness here and there. So this can be true, that he may be crazy that time. And then Prabhupada says, so in this way, crazy people go to psychiatrist, and many times psychiatrists go also crazy. Psychiatrist himself go crazy because of handling so many crazy people. So there are in America there is no dearth of psychiatrists committing suicide also, or like that. Why? Because they are so frustrated handling others' problems. So we see it is such an important thing, that one may acquire by our physics, chemistry, mathematics, engineering, medical, law, and all that studying. We may acquire a lot of wealth and popularity, but unless until the mind is controlled, we cannot even enjoy these things. What to speak of, attaining the goal of life? That is far away. Even we cannot enjoy these things also properly because of uncontrolled mind. So we know that we have to, that's why learn this mechanism of mind, intelligence and senses. So senses are the ones who give input to mind. Eyes, nose, especially these Jnanendriyas, they give input to mind. So they capture photo and give to mind, and it is remains in the mind. Eyes, tongues, nose, skin, and ears. And then mind, what it has got storehouse of thoughts, unfulfilled desires, and past experiences. Mind is having these three things in its storage. Storage में क्या क्या है mind के? Thoughts, unfulfilled desires, and experiences. Like ears give input. Like Ganpati songs are going on now everywhere, right? Sukha karta, dukha harta, varta vignachi. So it looks so nice, So past experience is there. Oh, very nice song, nice arti or whatever. It was so nice. Okay. Then, so when the ears give input, then mind tallies. Oh, that's a nice experience. I want to recite that. And then there are desires. Then we may think, oh, बहुत दिन हो गए कुछ अच्छा गाना नहीं सुना है. So what it does, ears give only one line, mind completes the song, isn't it? पूरा song complete हो जाता है. Okay, Thoda Ganpati is at least pious song about Ganpati, but it happens with Bollywood songs also, right? This is one example. Like that, there are so many examples. And then what is intelligence? Intelligence is a decision maker. So mind passes to intelligence. Such a nice song. I want to complete it. I want to enjoy this song. And intelligence, if it is weak, then it will say, okay, do it because you want it. So do it. Just do it. But if the intelligence is strong, then he will say, no, this is not a devotional song. Why should I hear this? This is not good. So, as we know, this analogy of body, chariot analogy. So body is like a chariot and horses are fences. Senses are like horses. And what is mind? Ropes which control the horses. And what is intelligence? Chariot driver. And who is passenger?
Soul.
Spirit soul is passenger. So based on, if the chariot driver is very weak, just imagine उसको 10 दिन खाना नहीं दिया खाने के लिए, बेचारा उसको बोले चलाओ गाड़ी. So he will be so weak. Then what will happen? This ropes and horses, they will go astray totally, isn't it? So horses always have tendency to go astray. But unless until the chariot driver is not strong, he will not be able to control. Have you driven horses ever? No. I also not. But I remember once in Alibag, on one sea beach, you know, somehow I remember one of my cousin sisters. She was small and she was very adamant. She wanted to sit on a horse. So then they were telling that somebody has to sit with her. So they were telling me that you sit. I was not ready, but my parents forced me. No, no, you must sit. How she alone will sit? I was telling, then tell her no. We have to fulfill her desire. Okay. I sat, and after some time, that horse wala fellow said, "No, my horse is very nice. Don't worry. I want to just go for passing water." My God, we are so horrified, you know. And that fellow went also, and horse actually started running that time. And sister and myself are shouting like anything. Fortunately, sometime he came and controlled the horse. So imagine, just imagine if the horse is uncontrolled, what it will do? It would have toppled us, right? Same way. Huh?
Saddle was not.
I don't remember that, but at least he started running. I was also not so young. I was also 7th standard maybe. So point is that, you know, such an uncontrolled horse, what it will do when, you know, one horse can topple us. There are 5 horses running in 5 different directions. Can you imagine what will they do? So in this way, if a person, that's why if he cannot control the mind, you know, his situation is very horrible. So that's why any yoga practice you do, whether it is bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, karma yoga, dhyana yoga, anything, you know, mind and sense control is an essential factor. It's a common factor. So so now in this section, the essential theme is that role of mind as a friend or enemy in yoga is the essential theme over here. So a success in yoga practice comes when one achieves Paramatma realization. But how Paramatma realization comes? It is a direct result of controlling mind. A future one verse will come. Somebody who has controlled his mind, his Paramatma is almost achieved. So that's a success. So as long as one is able to control the mind, so controlling mind is the one of the parameter of success. So in this verses, 6th verse, it says that mind is a friend or enemy. And that Amruta Bindu Upanishad also he says, what? Mana evahi manushyana karanam bandha mokshayoho. Mind is the cause of bondage as well as liberation. It depends on mind. So which mind is friend? Controlled mind is our friend. I hope you have seen this Mind Your Mind, that pantomime show, right? Very nicely they are depicted. So control mind is our best friend. How it is our best friend? Because it follows the dictations of super soul. Control mind follows the dictations of super soul. It is detached from sense gratification, and the result is that such mind elevates us, and that's why he's our best friend. Because of detachment from sense gratification and by following the dictations of super soul, such mind becomes the cause of our elevation. And that's how mana evahi manushyana mokshayo karanam mokshayo. It becomes the cause of his liberation. But uncontrolled mind is our worst enemy, isn't it? Why? Because it follows the dictations of not the super soul, but of lust, anger, illusion, etc. What Prabhupada mentions. It follows the dictations of these things. Uncontrolled mind is dictated by this. Means as such mind is never controlled. Uncontrolled. It is either controlled by super soul and through intelligence, or it is controlled by lust, anger, greed, all these things, anarthas. So mind is always controlled, but it is controlled by anarthas or the Lord. This is the only choice. So uncontrolled mind is one which is attached to sense gratification. The mind which is attached to sense gratification is uncontrolled mind. And what is the result? It degrades. It degrades. So this is such an important science. That's why we are talking that it is so unfortunate that people don't care for it. They are not caring for this science. because it is going to determine person's future. Actually, person may have everything in this world, but if his mind is uncontrolled, he can be neither happy now and nor can be happy in the next life. He'll be always frustrated. So that's why it's a very important science to be studied. So in verse number 5 purport, Prabhupada was talking about Atma indicates body, mind and soul, all three. We see this verse is quite nice for Jnani. Bandhur Atmat Manat Pasyat. In up verse also. You see this 5th verse. Uddharet Atmanatmanam Natmanam Avsadayet. आत्मा ही हुआ क्या आत्मनो बंधुर आत्मा ही हुआ रिपुर आत्मनः. कितने बार आत्मा है वर्ड? 5. उद्धरेत आत्मनात् मानम 2. नात्मानम 3. आत्मा ही हुआ 4. आत्मनो 5. आत्मा ही हुआ 6. आत्मनो 7 बार आया. But here we generally understand the word atma to be soul, but it is not correct. Atma word is used actually, of course, from a realistic point of view, Atma word means soul, but also the word Atma means your existence. So those who are on a bodily platform, their existence is based on body. So that's why Atma sometimes refers to body also. Then here in this particular context, we see Atma refers to both mind and soul. One word, this Atmanam, Uddharet Atmanam. Atmanam refers to soul. Okay. Then Natmanam, it refers to soul. Uddharet Atma, yeah. Uddharet Atma, Atmanam, it refers to soul. And then second Atmanam refers to condition. This is first one, condition, soul. And second is refers to mind. So these both meanings are there in this verse. One must deliver by mind. First one is referring to mind. Uddharet Atmanam. It is referring to mind. Then second one, Atmanam, referring to soul. Natmanam, again mind. Avasadayet, one should not degrade oneself. So, and the mind is either friend or enemy, like that. So based on what we consider ourselves, our identification, that's how Atma can indicate body, mind or soul on different circumstances. So in context, this context, sometimes Atma refers to mind also, or it can refer to conditioned soul. So the central point of yoga practice is this mind. Purpose of yoga is to control the mind. It's mind control. So, and how the mind can be controlled? Mind can be controlled only when it is withdrawn from sense objects. Then only mind can be controlled. The mind which is attached to sense gratification, to the degree mind is attached to sense gratification, to that degree mind will be uncontrolled. So we give mind control seminars. In that we may not so explicitly say this, but this is a fact. The person, to the degree is engaged in sense gratification, to that degree his mind cannot be peaceful. To the degree person is, his mind cannot be focused also. To the degree the mind is withdrawn from sense gratification, to that degree mind is our friend, it is controlled. So mind cannot be controlled artificially, like that. So one devotee was telling that, one person, well-wisher devotee was telling that he was playing so much video game, that he was only day and night only playing video game only. And he did not give exams because of that. This is, I'm not telling some imaginary concept. He told he did not even give exams also. So can you imagine, what an uncontrolled mind can do to us, But because it is engaged in sense gratification, so intelligence has become totally away from that person. And then after giving exams, he's realized, after exam dates are over, then he's realizing, my God, I did not give exams. For what? For just for playing video games. Isn't it? It is like that only. You see, we may laugh at it, but this is what actually has happened with that person. So this is the result of uncontrolled mind. The intelligence says bye bye. Basically, intelligence just go away from that person. So that's why, the real formula for controlling the mind is what? Withdraw it from sense gratification. And we should make it, we should control the mind and make it a friend in discharging the mission of human life. That's what should be done. Mind should be withdrawn from sense gratification. We should control the mind and we should make it a friend in discharging the mission of human form of life. So word here, the word he indicates what? It must be done. There is no question of choice. Sixth verse, no? Or fifth verse. Yeah, Uddharit Atmanatmano. He means what? It must be done. Without mind control, yoga is simply waste of time. Actually, one cannot attain success in yoga. So why should we train our mind? To deliver the conditioned soul from the mire of material existence. Every conditioned soul is suffering, although he has a lot of plans for enjoyment, but actually is suffering a lot in material existence. So in order to deliver the conditioned soul from this mire, you understand what is mire? M-I-R-E. Mire means दलदल. तो दलदल में क्या होता है? जितना हाथ पैर हिलाते उतना अंदर जाते रहता है और वो अंदर ही जाते रहता है. That's why material existence is called as mire. How many activities we do in material world, we don't come out of it. We get further and further entangled in material world. That's why it is called as mire. So, but in order to come out of that, one has to learn to train one's mind. So what is this mire of material existence? One is completely subjected to the influence of mind and senses. One is controlled. So people say, I am free, I can do anything, I like whatever I want. It is not true. He is controlled by his mind and senses, isn't it? They may speak it, but in their practical life we see that they are under the control of mind and senses, isn't it? So the original pure soul, it is entangled in material world because the mind is involved in false ego and it desires to lord over material existence. That is the reason why one is captured in this pitiable situation. Why conditioned soul comes in pitiable situation? Because it comes under the sway of false ego, of thinking I and mine, I, me and mine. And because of that, he desires to lord it over material existence. He thinks that I am the lord of whatever I say, survey. So in what principles should we train the mind? What are the principles of training the mind? We should train the mind so that it should not be attracted by glitter of material nature. Mind should be saved from getting attracted, because there will be lots and lots of temptations which are offered by material nature. And especially in Kali Yuga, these temptations have increased like anything. Like previously, we see that the lusty activities were done privately in a room, in a closed room in darkness, isn't it? But now in modern times, open, every poster, every advertisement, every woman we see around in companies and colleges, we see that they are always engaged in provoking the lust. So that's why it is a very, so Prabhupada said that those days there was one Acharmila. Nowadays, and this kind of scene which he saw was very rare. But Prabhupada says that now such a scene is always there, always present on internet, physically also. When we see so many such scenes are there. So Prabhupada says, just imagine the position of a person in devotional service, how much difficult it is. But somehow or other we have to exert ourselves, in order to train the mind so that it will not be attracted by the glitter of material nature. And in this way, the conditioned soul can be saved. So the mind should not be degraded by attraction to sense objects. So such a mind, when it is attached to the sense object, it is the cause of bondage. The same mind, when it is detached from sense object, it is the cause of liberation. So what is the best way to disentangle the mind?
Engage the mind in
Social.
Krishna consciousness.
Engage the mind always in Krishna consciousness. So give always Krishna conscious engagements to the mind. So mind is like the child, always restless, isn't it? So generally parents, what they do to child, they say, "Chup, shant baitho, chup baitho." But that's not the nature of child. You cannot keep quiet ever. So best parent is the one who always gives some engagement to the child. अरे चलो फूल तोड़ के लाओ थोड़ा, अरे चलो थोड़ा ये धो के लाओ, अरे चलो ये करते हो. Engage the child always, and that way the child's restlessness will be curbed. Similarly, mind also should be engaged always in Krishna consciousness. So, real yoga practice, it entails meeting Paramatma in the heart and following his dictation. So that is the way, that is the sign. So if our mind is getting dictations from Paramatma and we are following, that means our mind is controlled. But we don't know. It is very unsafe. Sometimes people say, from my heart something is coming, this is coming, that is coming. We have to be careful because Paramatma, how do we know it is dictation by Paramatma?
Guru Sadhu.
It should tally with Guru Sadhu Shastra, not that it is something whimsical like that. So when one perfectly surrenders to Lord's dictation, he automatically will follow Krishna consciousness. So that's why this is such an important science, that we have to learn of controlling the mind and making mind our friend. Essentially, spiritual practice means making mind our friend. That is the essential spiritual practice. The meaning of essentially the spiritual practices. So one of the three limbs of how we can understand devotees' progress is absorption. Steadiness, absorption, and pleasure. These are the three principles of devotees' advancement. Steadiness, he is consistent in doing things. It is not that he chants one day, another day he doesn't chant. He consistently chanting, steadily chanting, year after year, year after year, year after year is continuing to chant holy names. He keeps his vows up. So that is called as continuous consistency or steadiness. So that is one sign of person's fixity in Krishna consciousness. Then it leads to what? It leads to actually giving pleasure. Pleasure of Vaishnavas, Guru, Vaishnavas. This is the second important symptom. Second symptom is pleasure. He is able to please Guru and Vaishnavas. Actually, if unless until our mind is controlled, we cannot please anybody. Person who is uncontrolled in his mind, he cannot please anyone. He can neither please himself also, nor he can please others. That is not possible. In order to please others, this control of mind is required only. And then this consistency and pleasure of Vaishnavas, it leads to absorption. So when Radhanath Maharaj was asked, can you describe Krishna consciousness in one word? He said absorption. So we had to test how much is my absorption during chanting. How much is my absorption during chanting? We had to test it. So actually, the purpose of chanting is that we should be absorbed in holy name. But then for that, actually, we have to do chanting at a stretch. Sit and do at a stretch. Not that after every round we are doing something else. How is it possible to be absorbed then? Already, at least my personal experience is that when I'm sitting for chanting, it is so difficult to be absorbed. Even because mind becomes so active that time. Mind runs like a, in Marathi what we call as mokat janavar. Right? It runs like if you leave a calf, how it will run here and there. The mind runs, uncontrolled animal. It runs like that. Isn't it? So if this is the situation when mind is when we are even sitting and chanting, what kind of absorption can we attain by doing so many other things while chanting? Is it possible to be absorbed? It's not possible. See, when we start chanting, you know, at least first 2-3 rounds, you know, they act like almost like a warm up only. थोड़ा mind थोड़ा ऐसा अपना कभी कभी गाड़ी इसमें आ जाता है, you know,
reserve mode.
reserve whatever you say, you know, अपना हाँ ट्रैक में आ जाते हैं, वो धक्का देने के लिए 1-2-3 राउंड चले जाते हैं. और sometimes if we see that some devotees they after 2-3 राउंड में उसमें दूसरा कुछ तो चालू हो जाता है उनका, ए ये करो, अरे वो करो, अरे ये लैपटॉप खोलो, वो करना है, वो करना है. गॉन आपका 3 राउंड का मेहनत चला गया. एटलीस्ट 3 राउंड के बाद 2-3 राउंड के बाद थोड़ा माइंड गेट्स सेट इन नाउ कि चलो अभी जब कर रहे हैं हम, उसमें सेट होने लगता है माइंड, तो तब हम डिस्टर्ब कर देते हैं माइंड, isn't it? And when what is good, where is chanting then? So chanting is not just about completing 16 rounds, you know, chanting is about being absorbed in holy names. But if we keep on doing hundreds of things while chanting, so lots of managements and lots of, you know, messaging or household work or management work or, you know, giving suggestions to others, you know, there is no question of any absorption. Even while sitting, you know, sitting and chanting also gives so much, mind gets so badly, it runs here and there. So where is any scope for the mind if we do not even do that? There is no question of absorption. So means one sense it is one type of glory to complete 16 rounds every day. At least we are externally following the instruction of our founder Acharya, so that is our great credit. But that's not ultimate actually. You know, one has to actually become absorbed in holiness, but you know that will not possible if we externally our activities are disturbed during chanting. So that's why at least good number of rounds we should chant at a stretch, so that mind comes on track. Means वो mind track chanting के track पे आ गया तो थोड़ा concentrate करना आसान हो जाता है. वो track पे ही नहीं आया तो फिर क्या होगा? There is no question only. Then फिर से distract कर देते हैं उसको, फिर से उसको ट्रैक में लाओ. तो वही हमारा अगर एक्सरसाइज चलते रहा, वो डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो रहा है, उसको वापस लेके आओ, यू नो, ट्रैक पे, यू नो. तो वो एक्सरसाइज करना ही है, पर वो एटलीस्ट इंटरनली चल रहा रहेगा तो समथिंग पॉजिटिव विल हैपन. बट एक्सटर्नली भी इतना डिस्ट्रैक्शन हम उसको माइंड को दे देते हैं, सो देयर इज नो क्वेश्चन ऑफ, यू नो, एब्जॉर्प्शन ओवर देयर. So this is that's why a very important thing. So mind control, that's why is an important aspect. And the devotee, he has to really try his best so that he'll bring mind, he'll subdue the mind. He will not so that he will not take the person, because it will become worst enemy if the mind is taking the person in the direction of degradation. You know, that's why one of the best techniques for dealing with mind is to neglect. So जो मन की बात सुनता है वो कौन है? वो मंकी है. Of course.
मलिन मन की हर बात.
Yeah. मलिन मन की हर बात बेकार है. Nagendra Maharaj says that. Isn't it? So to the degree we don't listen to mind, but we listen to Guru Sadhu Shastra, to that degree our advancement will take place in Krishna consciousness. And to the degree we neglect this aspect and we just follow the dictations of our mind, you know, to that degree we are surrendering ourselves to our worst enemy. So we are also afraid of India-Pakistan war, right? We are so much on guard of China, of Pakistan, isn't it? Just imagine if that person, terrorist, either from whatever country it is, he just comes and just imagine he comes and stays in our own lane. हमारे गली में ही एक है घर, terrorist का घर है. What will be our situation? How much we'll be afraid? Imagine he starts staying in our same apartment. Terrorist is there in our apartment. He's one of the residents of apartment. How much difficult it will be, right? Those days when Konwa, our temple was getting built, new temple, so devotees were little afraid also, saying it's all Pakistan of India. Pakistan of Pune it is. Konwa area is. So there are a lot of, you know, terrorist contacts in Konwa. Their connections are there now also. You know, there are a lot of, you know, training things and all, many things happen in Konwa. You know, so devotees are afraid of kya hoga pata nahi. When they'll blow up our temple, we don't know. Fortunately, by Lord's mercy, things have not happened. Just imagine if the terrorist comes and he takes the charge of our home. And he says, I'm going to stay with you here now. In Kashmir, they do, right? They hide in people's homes. Terrorists are hiding. So how much that person will be under tension? But the worst news is that such an enemy is within our own system. And he has captured to such a degree that we are not able to even understand that he is there. Who is that?
Mind.
That is mind. Our worst enemy is present with us over here. In our own mind, in our own system, this worst enemy is present. But the only paradox is that we are not afraid of it. If the enemy, if the terrorist remains in our home, we will be so afraid. But he is within our own system, but we are not afraid. That's how he has captured us. Because he is behaving like a friend. He's thinking, he's showing as if he's a friend. So that's why I don't say that. I have to frankly admit, even on my mind is also quite uncontrolled, and I also have my own big amount of struggles in order to control the mind. But nonetheless, the fact remains as it is for a spiritualist that mind control is a very essential part, and the only way is to somehow or another, be attentive during spiritual activities. That is the way mind can be controlled. So Prabhupada says, the only remedy is engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. What do you mean by engaging the mind in Krishna consciousness? We have to be present with the mind when we are doing spiritual activities. When we are chanting, if the mind is somewhere else, that means we are not chanting. Now we are hearing and reading. But if mind is not here, then actually we are not reading and hearing. That is not actually happening. So mind has to be, that's why, present when we are doing spiritual activities. That is called as engaging the mind in Krishna consciousness. On a most practical level, of course, if one can think of Krishna or one can, meditate on Krishna, that would be very great. But I don't know how many of us do that. How many times in a day you sit and think of Krishna or meditate on Krishna? Very rarely we do, right? So at least while doing external spiritual activities, if we try to be attentive, that also will be great gain. You can experience that. You will personally experience, there will be great gain, isn't it? So that's the very important, crucial aspect of spiritual life, attentiveness. Attentiveness is a very crucial aspect of spiritual life. So we should not do our chanting, reading, hearing, artis or services with inattentive mind. We should try to be as attentive as possible, and that's how the mind can be controlled, and that's how the mind can become our best friend, and that's how one can progress in spiritual life. Otherwise, one may continue doing spiritual activities, one will gather only some little sukruti here and there, and like that only things will continue. Our bondage will not be broken totally. So I pray and seek the blessing so that I can do it myself. That I should be able to be trying to be attentive as much as possible. We should try to be as attentively as possible. So that is that is what I hope and pray, that I should do that. Okay, so we'll end for today. And then so one thing I wanted to very much stress, that this Demons in Brajalila, I hope many of you must have got poster registration link. I would request all the devotees to please do register for it. This Raishampru, all these lectures, I never saw Raishampru was so much emphatically saying that devotees should attend that. He was giving always choice. Okay, devotees, means even VMML Raishampru said, yes, devotees can attend. It will be nice. I'm going for voice devotees. But this one Prabhuji is really was telling that he is personally wanting. So it is very nectarine also. We'll get to hear about a lot of Krishna's pastimes. It's a condensed nectar from Garga Samhita and so many literatures, Acharya's commentaries and all that. And also we'll learn very valuable lessons. So we are putting it in the form of this thing, certificate course. Just like you get IDC certificate, you get Bhakti Shastri. Similarly, this is one course. Actually in Radhadesh, Belgium, this is actually a course is there. Demons in Brajalila is one of the courses. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a book on it. So, so please, all devotees, please register. If you have not got, I'll request some of those who have got, at least put in our group. There is a link
Already put.
in our group also. It is put.
Yes.
Okay. And from Antardeep Pru's mails also many must have got. So please do not be neglectful of it. It is Raisham Pru's personal, from his own side is emphasizing this. So you should take it seriously. So it is only 3 days in a week. So it is not every day. 3 days in a week, 1.5 hours only in the evening. So in that time, we will not have morning classes also. That will be only class. So even that degree adjustments have been done by Central Voice. Tuesday morning class like tomorrow. There is no need of morning class. You can hear evening class only like that. So it will be that way. But it is very essential. And there are nice quizzes. You can participate. So please do register for it today or by tomorrow at the max. If you have not got, then please take from Achyut Pru, Abhijit Pru, Sushmit Pru. These devotees have whole thing. So please do register. Okay, so we have completed this one, 2 verses, which are very crucial verses of this particular chapter. One of the most important verses dealing with the very essentials of yoga or spirituality. They are dealing with essentials of spirituality. And then further discussions will come now. 7th verse onwards, there are symptoms of yoga ruda stage. So you may check, how much we have become yoga ruda by those symptoms. Then further things will come. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Unless the mind is controlled, the practice of yoga is simply a waste of time.
Prabhupada writes, no? Means it is not very effective in general.
Slow.
See, generally Prabhupada in this, he doesn't refer to devotees much. He refers to people who they keep on plugging their nose or keep on doing some asanas and then whole day they do whatever they like to do. So in that, mostly generally Prabhupada gives little tola to the person who is this type of yogi. So he's telling he's wasting their time. They are trying to do some meditation, but then or they are trying to do some kind of what do you say, some kind of gymnastics in the name of yoga. It is simply wastage of time if mind is not controlled. Now, as far as devotee is concerned, certainly it is not fully waste, because one gets, no doubt, one gets some benefits of Sukruti, one gets, with uncontrolled mind also bhakti progress happens. But yeah, the progress will be slow because we are not, that's why one of the symptom is absorption of progress. But if one is not able to be absorbed, it means the progress is minimum. So with uncontrolled mind, how one can be absorbed? Not possible. Absorption is very basic thing of absorption is uncontrolled mind, right? So that way. But so it is not fully waste for a devotee. But yeah, for other yogas, it is more or less waste only. Like even for a Jnana yoga, if his mind is not controlled, he may do neti, this, that. What will, he'll attain by that? Nothing. So that verse comes now. What is that verse? Shreyas Sutim Bhakti Mudassate Vibho Klishyanti Ye Kevala Bodha Labdaye Tesha Masau Kesha Eva Shishyate Nanya Ditha Sthula Tushavaghati. He says that it is like beating an empty husk. One may work very hard beating a husk, but if it has no grains, then what is the use? It's simply waste. Similarly, these Gyanis' endeavors of doing neti, or yogis' endeavors of doing a lot of gymnastics, or karmi people's endeavors of doing a lot of karmakandi activities, it is simply waste of time, because ultimate result of liberation is not being achieved with that. So for devotee, it is not waste, but it is slowing down the progress. That way it is. Okay, Haribol. Yeah, here Sushmit Pro is displaying the whole thing. Registration procedure and all that. So
Why we have to play on our own, on our personal phones?
Because otherwise, how attendance will mark? Because we can play. That's what.
Yeah. That will do some adjustments.
Common play. Coordinate the same thing.